Picture this scenario. You're standing in a department store, holding something you don't really need. Maybe it's an expensive kitchen gadget. Perhaps it's designer clothing. Your hand reaches toward your wallet. What happens next reveals everything about your relationship with money. Do you feel excitement, guilt, anxiety? Does your pulse quicken? Do you rationalize the purchase before making it, telling yourself you deserve this treat? These emotions aren't random. They're symptoms of a deeper problem most of us carry. We've turned money into something it was never meant to be. Today, I want to share research that changed how thousands of people think about spending. It's a simple shift, one reframe, but it removes emotion from purchases and restores clarity to financial decisions. Let me tell you a story. Back in the 1980s, economist Richard Thaler noticed something peculiar. He observed people making irrational decisions with money. Consistently irrational. People would drive 20 minutes across town to save $5 on a $15 purchase. But they wouldn't make that same drive to save $5 on something costing $125. $5 is $5, yet people treated it differently based on context. Thaler called this mental accounting. He won the Nobel Prize for this work. His research revealed how our brains create imaginary categories for money. We don't treat all dollars equally, even though they are. Here's what happens. Your brain creates mental accounts. There's your grocery money, your entertainment budget, your vacation fund, your emergency savings. Each account feels different psychologically, even though it's all just money. Research from the American Psychological Association found that individuals facing financial difficulties were significantly more likely to engage in impulse buying. Think about that. People with less money to spare make worse purchasing decisions. Why? Because stress overwhelms rational thinking. Financial stress lowers self-control. A study tracking over 80,000 students revealed something startling. Nearly 80% actively use budgets, yet 77% still admitted to spending impulsively. They knew better, they planned better, but emotions overruled their planning. This isn't about intelligence. It's about how we've learned to see money. Most of us view money through one of several emotional lenses. We see it as security, as status, as freedom, as love, as power, as self-worth. When money represents your self-worth, spending becomes personal. Every purchase either validates you or diminishes you. That's why the checkout line triggers anxiety. You're not just buying something. You're making a statement about who you are. Recent research examined consumer behavior using household scanner data. Scientists tracked over 80,000 households for 15 years. They discovered that unexpected emotional events dramatically altered spending patterns. When people's favorite sports teams lost unexpectedly, households increased shopping trips and spending within 3 days. They were seeking what researchers call retail therapy. The brain's reward system releases dopamine when we purchase things. It feels good. Temporarily, that feeling fades quickly, creating a cycle. We chase that fleeting high through more purchases. This explains why financial experts estimate that 85 to 90% of our money decisions stem from emotions, not logic. Your broken lens sees money as something it isn't. This warps every financial decision you make. Now, imagine viewing money differently, completely differently. What if money weren't a score, not a measure of worth, not a source of identity? What if money were simply a tool? Think about a hammer. A hammer doesn't make you good or bad. It doesn't define your status. It doesn't provide emotional validation. A hammer is neutral. It exists to accomplish specific tasks. You pick it up when needed. You set it down when finished. This is the money as a tool mindset. When you see money as a neutral instrument, something shifts. Purchases become functional decisions rather than emotional events. The anxiety dissolves. The guilt disappears. You're no longer asking, "Am I worthy of this?" You're asking, "Does this tool accomplish my objective?" Let me share what this looks like practically. Traditional emotional spending asks, do I deserve this? Will this make me happy? What will others think? Can I justify this pleasure? The tool mindset asks, what am I trying to accomplish? Does this purchase advance that goal? Is this the most effective use of this resource? What alternative tools might work better? Notice the difference. One set of questions centers on feelings. The other centers on function. Behavioral economists distinguish between two types of utility. Acquisition utility measures the value of the good itself. Transaction utility measures how the deal makes you feel. When you see money emotionally, transaction utility dominates. You feel clever getting a bargain. Even if you didn't need the item, you feel validated buying expensive brands, even if cheaper alternatives work equally well. The tool mindset eliminates transaction utility. You don't care about deals unless the item serves your purpose. You don't care about brand status unless it delivers superior function. Research on mental accounting reveals that people label money based on how they acquired it. Unexpected money like tax refunds or bonuses gets spent differently than earned wages. People treat windfall money as fun money suitable for splurges. They treat hard-earned money as serious money requiring careful allocation. But here's the truth. All money is the same money. $1 from your tax refund buys exactly what $1 from your paycheck buys. Treating them differently is irrational. The tool mindset corrects this. Every dollar is an identical tool. Its origin doesn't matter. Only its function matters. Let's address the most common objection. People say, but money isn't just practical. It affects how I feel. I can't ignore emotions. You're absolutely right. Money does affect feelings. But here's what matters, the direction of that relationship. In emotional spending, your feelings drive your purchases. You feel stressed, so you shop. You feel happy, so you celebrate by buying something. You feel inadequate, so you purchase status symbols. Emotions come first, spending follows. In the tool mindset, spending serves your objectives. Those objectives might include emotional well-being. That's perfectly valid, but you're choosing tools to support emotional health rather than letting emotions hijack your spending. Here's an example. Someone using emotional spending comes home after a terrible day. They open their laptop. They browse online stores. An hour later, they've spent $200 on items they didn't plan to buy. The temporary dopamine rush provides brief relief. Then comes regret, guilt, and reduced financial security. Someone with the tool mindset comes home after that same terrible day. They recognize they're feeling overwhelmed. They ask what tool addresses this need. Maybe it's calling a friend, taking a walk, listening to music, writing in a journal. If spending money genuinely serves their well-being goals, they might choose that tool, but they choose it deliberately, not reactively. The difference is agency. Emotional spending happens to you. Tool-based spending is something you do. Research on scarcity mindset reveals another layer. When people feel financially scarce, they become hyper-focused on immediate concerns. This tunnel vision actually impairs decision-making. Studies show that scarcity reduces cognitive capacity. It's like losing 13 IQ points. The tool mindset counteracts this. Rather than feeling scarce and desperate, you assess resources available and match them to objectives. You're not hoarding, you're allocating strategically. Financial psychologists have identified what they call money scripts. These are deeply ingrained beliefs about money formed in childhood. Scripts like spending money is scary, or more money means more happiness, or I don't deserve wealth. These scripts run unconsciously. They influence every financial decision without your awareness. The tool mindset interrupts those scripts. When money becomes neutral, childhood beliefs lose their power. You're no longer reacting to programming. You're choosing consciously. So how do you actually adopt this mindset? How do you train your brain to see money as a tool? Start with the 48-hour rule. Before any unplanned purchase, wait 48 hours. During this waiting period, write down the purchase and its cost. Then write your objective. What are you trying to accomplish? This simple practice creates distance between emotion and action. Most impulse purchases fail this test. After 48 hours, the emotional charge dissipates. You realize you don't actually need the item. Second, establish a values-based budget. This is different from traditional budgeting. You're not just tracking expenses, you're identifying what matters most to you, then allocating resources accordingly. Ask yourself, what do I value? Relationships, health, education, security, freedom, adventure, growth? Then ask, do my spending patterns reflect these values? Research shows that people are significantly happier when spending aligns with personal values, but most people never make this connection explicit. When you view money as a tool, you naturally allocate it toward valued objectives. You stop wasting resources on things that don't matter. You start investing in things that do. Third, practice the substitution principle. Before purchasing anything, ask, what am I giving up to acquire this? Economists call these opportunity costs. Every dollar spent on one thing cannot be spent on another, but our brains don't automatically consider trade-offs. We see purchases in isolation, making opportunity costs explicit changes, decision-making. That $300 designer handbag isn't just $300. It's 3 months of quality coffee with friends, or 5 books you've wanted to read, or a weekend trip to visit family, or progress toward larger savings goals. When you frame purchases as trade-offs, emotional appeal diminishes, functional value becomes clear. Fourth, automate virtuous decisions. Research on behavioral economics demonstrates that automation removes emotion from financial choices. Set up automatic transfers to savings, establish automatic bill payments, Create automatic investment contributions. Why does this work? Because you're not making repeated emotional decisions. You decided once when thinking clearly, the system executes without requiring ongoing willpower. Studies show that people who automate savings accumulate significantly more wealth than those who manually save. It's not because they earn more or spend less. It's because they remove the decision point where emotions typically derail plans. Here's what people don't expect. This mindset shift affects more than spending. It transforms your entire relationship with money. When money becomes a neutral tool, several things happen. First, financial anxiety decreases. Research demonstrates that emotional intelligence regarding money correlates with lower materialism and reduced compulsive buying. When you're not attaching self-worth to dollars, financial stress declines dramatically. People report feeling lighter, free. The constant worry about money loosens its grip, not because they have more money, because money means less emotionally. Second, you stop comparing yourself to others. Social comparison drives enormous amounts of wasteful spending. Social media constantly exposes us to curated images of others' lifestyles. This creates feelings of inadequacy. We spend to keep up. But when money is just a tool, other people's tools become irrelevant. You wouldn't feel inadequate because your neighbor owns a different hammer than you. Their tools serve their purposes, your tools serve yours. Third, financial decisions become easier, much easier. The average American makes hundreds of small financial decisions weekly. Each one creates friction when viewed emotionally. Should I buy this? Can I afford it? Do I deserve it? What will people think? When money is a tool, decisions simplify. Does this serve my purpose? If yes, use it. If no, don't. The mental burden vanishes. Research on decision fatigue shows that humans have limited capacity for good decisions. Each decision depletes our capacity slightly. By simplifying financial decisions, you preserve mental energy for what matters. Fourth, you develop genuine financial freedom. Most people think financial freedom means having unlimited money. That's not it. Financial freedom means your emotions don't dictate your spending. You can have modest means and complete financial freedom. You can have substantial wealth and zero financial freedom. It's not about the amount, it's about the relationship. The tool mindset creates real freedom because you're choosing consciously rather than reacting unconsciously. Let's be honest, this shift isn't always easy. 3 obstacles tend to emerge. First, social pressure. Our culture equates consumption with success. Luxury brands, new cars, large homes, expensive vacations. These signal status. When you stop playing that game, others notice, they question, they judge. You'll need to decide whether external validation or internal integrity matters more. That's not a trivial choice, but it is a clear one. Second, old habits. If you spent decades viewing money emotionally, neural pathways have formed. These patterns feel automatic. Changing them requires conscious effort. The good news? Neuroplasticity is real. Your brain can form new pathways. It just takes repetition and patience. Every time you pause before a purchase and ask, what am I trying to accomplish? You strengthen the new pathway and weaken the old one. Research shows it takes roughly 66 days to form a new habit. Give yourself time. Be gentle with failures. Celebrate small victories. Third, fear of missing out. This deserves special attention because it's powerful. Recent research on FOMO reveals it leads to reluctance to repeat current experiences. People constantly seek novel experiences, fearing they'll miss something better. This drives enormous amounts of impulsive spending. The latest technology, the newest fashion, the trending restaurant, the popular vacation destination, the tool mindset counters FOMO by asking, what am I actually missing? And does it serve my objectives? Usually, you're not missing anything important. You're just being manipulated by clever marketing. Something unexpected happens when you adopt the money as a tool mindset. Benefits ripple outward into other areas of life. You become more intentional generally. The practice of asking, what am I trying to accomplish, extends beyond money. You apply it to time, to relationships, to career choices, to health decisions. Intentionality becomes a way of being, not just a spending strategy. You develop greater self-awareness. To use money as a tool, you must clarify your objectives. This requires knowing what you value, what you want, who you are. Most people haven't done this work. They're operating on autopilot, following scripts written by others. The tool mindset forces self-examination. That examination yields clarity that enriches everything. You build emotional resilience when money doesn't carry emotional weight. Financial setbacks sting less. You lost your job? That's a tool shortage, not an identity crisis. The market crashed. Your investment tools declined in value temporarily. This isn't pleasant, but it's not devastating. Research shows that people who separate self-worth from net worth recover faster from financial difficulties. They adapt, they problem solve, they move forward. You experience authentic generosity. Paradoxically, when money matters less emotionally, you can give more freely. You're not clinging desperately because money represents security or status. It's just a tool. Tools can be shared. Studies demonstrate that people with healthy money mindsets give more to charity and help others more readily. Not because they have more, because they hold it more loosely. Let me return to that opening image. You're in a store holding something you don't really need. Your hand reaches toward your wallet. What happens next? With the old mindset, emotions flood in. Desire, justification, guilt, anxiety. You're caught in a storm of feelings trying to make a rational decision while drowning in irrationality. With the tool mindset, you pause. You ask, what am I trying to accomplish? Does this purchase serve that purpose? Is this the best tool for this job? The emotional charge drains away. Clarity emerges. You make a decision. Maybe you buy the item because it genuinely serves your objective. Maybe you don't. Either way, you chose consciously rather than reacting unconsciously. That's the difference. That's the shift. This isn't about becoming cold or calculating. It's about reclaiming agency over your financial life. It's about aligning spending with values. It's about freedom from the emotional tyranny that bankrupts so many people earning good incomes. The research is clear. Emotional spending leads to debt, regret, and financial instability. The tool mindset leads to clarity, intentionality, and genuine wealth building. Which lens will you choose? The beautiful truth is this: you can make the shift today, right now. It doesn't require more money. It doesn't require special knowledge. It requires a simple reframe. Money is a tool, nothing more, nothing less. When you see it this way, everything changes. Your next purchase is an opportunity to practice this new way of thinking, to ask different questions, to choose consciously. Take it and watch as financial anxiety transforms into financial freedom, one decision at a time.